Today, police officers are subject to unjust discrimination and dehumanization. There are many different stereotypes that are widely believed by people throughout the U.S. These stereotypes cause officers everywhere to be treated badly. The belief that officers are racist is likely the most widely believed stereotype of police. It is widely believed that an officer will treat a person of color differently than a white person. In response to this, Academy graduate Mark Alcantar said,
"That's a tough thing to say, because are you only saying that a white officer is racist?"
Officer Lacey Kane of Watsonville PD said,
"It's almost like police officers are their own race."
Alcantar brings up the point that police officers come from all different backgrounds and ethnicities. So if all officers are branded as racist, then are all officers of color racist, or just white officers? Kane sees this issue as people viewing police officers as a completely different race. Because of this view, people treat officers negatively and as if they are separate from themselves. While there may be some officers who do treat some races differently, this stereotype is false for the majority of officers. It is common for a person who just got a ticket to blame it on the fact that the officer only wrote it to fulfill a quota. Many people believe this false stereotype. Officer Alicia Gorman of Merced PD said this in response.
"No, I don't have a quota to meet. I have a job to do."
She is saying that police officers are not driven by a number and a deadline. They are driven by a passion for their work and a sense of duty to the people. Officer Elizabeth Huerta from Madera PD mentioned that making more arrests or writing more citations can exist as a form of friendly competition among officers, but that's as far as numbers go. It is not terribly uncommon to see footage of a police encounter on someone's phone. People are constantly recording police officers, trying to catch them doing something against the law. But officers rarely do something that they aren't supposed to do while on a stop or a call. People just always expect them to be doing something bad because of their stereotypical view of officers. Mark Alcantar stated,
"The first thing that they're going to do is pull out their cell phones, and then they're going to try to antagonize you. We preach anti-bullying, but we can't wait to go out and bully the police."
People need to understand that officers are on their side and that they are to be trusted, not recorded. A lot of society's beliefs about police officers come from the media. The media is where a lot of people get their false information about police. Many people know that the media often stretches the truth about many things, but for some reason they choose to believe many of the things it says. The media will also cut stories down and only show the parts that will portray their desired message.
You're only going to hear about what an officer does that was bad.
The media will often show only the incriminating things that officers have done. This aids in the growing of the belief in certain stereotypes about police. This causes people to view officers negatively and treat them differently. On this topic, Officer Gorman said,
"Like, there's this division between, law enforcement and the public. I think the media is really driving this."
In order for the myths about police officers to be extinguished, people need to stop listening to the false stories that the media produces. Dehumanization is the act of making a person feel like less than a human being. Officers are regularly dehumanized for the mere fact that they are officers. Alcantar has met people who changed their behavior immensely once they found out that he was on his way into law enforcement. They began to treat him as inferior to them. Officer Kane has drifted away from friends who have a dehumanizing view of officers. They were treated as less than human just because they are associated with law enforcement. Many people treat officers this way. Officer Kane said it this way.
They have no idea who you are, but for some reason they just come to this conclusion that you're just this horrible human being.
People often forget that officers are human too, with normal lives like everyone else.
We don't go to bed in our uniform. We don't come home and walk around in our uniform. We're people too.
It has always been hard for women to be respected in any profession. Unfortunately, this is also true for law enforcement. Women in law enforcement are often discriminated against because of their gender. Officer Huerta stated, "We live in a society where many people still believe a police officer is a man's job. This belief causes many people to treat female officers differently than male officers. Female officers are often seen as having less authority than a male officer. Officer Gorman has been on calls where an individual would not follow her directions or listen to her at all because she is a female, while at the same time the individual would listen to a male officer. The idea that being an officer is a man's job must be forgotten. Women should not be discriminated against in a profession that already comes with so many stereotypes. In order for these stereotypes to be forgotten and for the police to receive the respect they deserve, people need to get educated. There are many opportunities for people to learn about their local police department and what officers really do. People can go on ride-alongs with officers, attend meetings and learn about what's going on in their community, ask officers questions, and run through simulations set up by their local department. If people learn about the reality of an officer's job, then the stereotypes, discrimination, and dehumanization can stop.